I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, real success in a little mini series with Katie Williamson, discovering timing, purpose, your warrior. And are you accepting the cultural norm, or are you just deciding for yourself who you really are? So today is all about purpose. So Katie, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So the part that I want to talk about now is purpose. And I have my own personal idea about purpose, and I wanted to share it with you before we expand on your experience with purpose and your thoughts and how you guide others on that. So what I've learned over time is that as a coach myself, and oftentimes people are asking me, oh, I don't know my purpose. I don't know my purpose. And it's almost like people think that this purpose has to magically appear. And the truth is that, purpose isn't just, purpose is made. You actually make your purpose happen. It's when you discover what's important for you and what's the legacy that you want to leave behind. And so it's a matter of doing the deep work like you've been doing to discover what's really important. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Growing up, I used to think, just like you said, that my purpose was, it was going to be doing something specific. And I would say the biggest breakthrough that I personally have had around my purpose and what I help other people discover as well is that it's not about discovering this specific career or career path that's going to bring fulfillment. It's about discovering who you are at your deepest layer and realizing that once you can tap into that, all of a sudden you just have this spring well of energy to pull from that permeates every other area of your life. But like you said, it is deep work and it is challenging, but the reward on the other side is just phenomenal.
And it's you say something that's really important to me, because I was doing all these things, and it almost seemed, from outside that I was all over the place, that I had ADD. And, fortunately, I met a great fellow, too, Larry Martin. And he basically read my chart and realized, no, you're just multidimensional. I was like, yes, that is me. And so, but in that journey of this self-discovery, and like you, I've done a lot of work on that, I recognize what I'm passionate about. And so from there, I extrapolated and articulated or defined what my purpose is. And so for me, as an example, I'm passionate about creating change, enhancing life, and developing a space of peaceful awareness. And so everything that I do is through that. But you're absolutely right. You have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for so long, just like you, I still do have a lot of irons in the fire. So maybe I'll start adopting that as well, that I'm multidimensional.
Yeah, works for me. I'm not ADD.
Yeah. But what I used to think, or what I realized, was that the reason why I was pursuing these multiple avenues was because I was trying to find the one thing that was going to, like, the magic bullet that, was going to fix all my problems, or that was going to help me make a lot of money, or was going to make me successful, or this is the thing that's going to change my life. And what I realized, especially looking back, was that, there isn't this magic bullet, that the place that I'm at now, my identity, who I am, why I'm here, why I do what I do, and then the things that I do, it's all just pointed back to, like, what I do is now an overflow of who I am. So it doesn't matter really what my job title is, so long as I get to live out my values and I get to live out my core purpose of my being, then I can find joy and fulfillment in any career path. And once I realized that, it was like just the brick wall that I had been hitting for a long time just came crashing down with, like, one touch of a finger. I was like, oh, kind of like what we were talking about in another episode. Like, here's just 20 million different ways that I've tried to knock this thing down, and it just took like one push of a button to, oh, there it is. There's the door that I get to walk through.
That really only came from all the work that you've done, all the questions that you've asked, all the challenges you decided to face. Because without any of that, you wouldn't have come with this answer.
Exactly.
And quite frankly, it really comes down to knowing yourself. I mean, this is in the Greek temples, 2,000 years ago. I mean, stated on the temples is know thyself.
Right.
That's the most important thing that we need to go for, because without,
Well,
we're lost.
exactly. And I was actually thinking about that this morning over my coffee, my morning coffee. It's part of my meditation routine because, the past few weeks, even, I just experienced like this up and down where I was totally in create and generate mode and all of these things were flowing and it was so awesome. And then I just kind of hit another wall, slept a lot, cried a bit. And in the midst of that low point, I was thinking, man, what is wrong with me that I haven't figured it out, that I have these super high highs and then what, now I'm just crashing.
Right.
And I realized that judgment and pulled back and just allowed myself to have that time to regenerate. I've been generating, now let me as myself regenerate and fill back up. And I woke up this morning with just ideas flowing again. And before this, projects coming together, and my list is long again, and it's exciting. So what I was thinking over my morning coffee was that when I put my happiness in circumstances of my life, it becomes so fleeting. That I'm looking at, okay, well, once I need to generate this income so I can hit this financial goal, and then I can do this. And once I have this done in my backyard, then I'm going to be happy. And it's like, okay, no, that's not how it works, because I'm already happy now. So it's not that meeting these goals makes me happy. It's
Right.
just, I get to celebrate that I've reached another milestone, not that it's, what's the word? Not that it's like telling me, it's not defining who I am, but it's affirming the work that I've put in and how I've been showing up.
Nietzsche said amore fati, which means, love what is. And too often, I think, we're focused on the future as to, okay, if I get this, I get that, we're going to be okay. No, we have to fall in love with this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's recognizing and acknowledging who we are in this particular moment. And there are different parts to us. I mean, the truth is, you're talking about purpose and goals. I mean, we are what's called, we all are what's called teleological beings. And this comes from Malcolm Maltz, from psycho-cybernetics. And what that means is, we're all goal oriented because it gives us purpose, it gives us reason, it gives us meaning. We are creatures of meaning. And so I think that sometimes, and I'm not talking about you, but what happens to me is that I get super excited. I want to do all these things. And then, I'm way out in the future, imagining all these things happening. But in the present, nothing's changed, just in my head. And so I crash at times unless I make sure that I'm balanced and I'm pursuing the purpose at the same time as well. So I'm making significant progress each and every day. Unfortunately, in my case, it's never as much as I like it to be. And today is a classic point to that. And I think bigger than what's real. And I have to come back to real and realize, what, I'm still making progress and I'm enjoying the process and I'm enjoying the learning. And I just have to have faith. And this is something that you talked about earlier, just faith in who I am and me doing what's right now.
Right. Well, and I've definitely experienced that too, Bart. And one of the things that's been such a big aha moment for me, just especially these last few weeks, is realizing, to me, that's where the power of persistence and consistency comes in. because to be able to look back over the last year and a half and see where I was, realizing that in some areas of my life, I was still living in survival. I had made moves forward, like I said, in other areas to stability, but the reality was financially, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And, I just started to think like, okay, what is it that needs to change? Is it my state, story, or strategy? And I realized that my strategy needed to change. Like, I could change my mindset all I wanted, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And so that's what I did. I took a class on financial peace and just got real about, okay, now it's time for some hard work and to actually put this strategy into place. And to see where I'm at a year and a half later from being diligent in that, it just blows my mind. And it's the same in martial arts training as well. I mentioned earlier about, sometimes in the past I've wanted that magic bullet. And the thing is, like, what's that quote about a lot of people miss success because it looks like hard work and is dressed in overalls? Something like that.
No, I haven't heard that one, but yeah, spot on.
Yeah, and it's like we can do all of the talking that we want, but at some point, like, we got to get out there and actually put in the work too. And so it's this balance of knowing who I am and what I want and what's important to me, and then having that fuel and be the place that the energy comes from to do the work, rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to do all of this work to show me who I am and to teach me what I love. That's where in the past for me, I've gotten sidetracked.
And again, we're wired too often in this culture that success, should be instant, and only certain people deserve that success or are able to have that success. And nothing is further from the truth. Success really comes from a lot of hard work. And that's it. Bottom line. Geniuses aren't born, but geniuses are made. And look at the Beatles, look at Bill Gates. They put a phenomenal amount of effort and intention and compromise to get to where they are today. And look what they were able to achieve. I mean, they shifted our society, our cultures in so many incredible ways because of their work. And it wasn't just handed to them. And so there is no magic bullet. And you know what? Quite frankly, if there was a magic bullet, you feel pretty empty.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and I would say I'm learning that as well, because as my mindset has started to shift from thinking that, like I was saying, happiness is just going to be a destination, or once I get this goal, then I'll be happy. What I keep envisioning is this realization, like, okay, well, if I put all of this work and then this one moment happens, like, does my life just end after that? No, it keeps going. So that's why it's about the journey and what I'm learning along the way, and where that, to me, that's also just where the compassion for myself has come in, and the fun of getting to know who I am and how I show up and what environment I work best in. And I shared before about, a lot of my life I spent kind of repressing myself and quieting my voice. And what I'm finding now is that it's really interesting watching when I show up as myself and I speak my truth in love, even in fun things. It's just, I'm communicating, hey, this is what's going to work best for me. Sometimes there's some surprise on the other side, and then people say, okay, that works. I'm like, great.
And that has to be okay, and I like what you said, having compassion for yourself. So I know that you help people find that compassion. So once again, how do people find you?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on my website, www.katiewilliamsoncoaching.com, or on Instagram or Facebook at legit Katie Williamson. Or you can also send me an email, katie@katiewilliamsoncoaching.com.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for those insights. And once again, I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker. This is Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations, Real Success, talking to Katie Williamson. And it's really all about having compassion for yourself so that you can get dialed in your own purpose in life. So thank you, Katie. And I know we're going to be back with some more enlightening insights as to how you're relating to a culture that we might not be so aligned with, and how it can be okay, and how we can still tap into that warrior self and coming from love. So thank you, and I'll be back.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dr. Rademaker's Prescription for Your Transformation. Continue the path towards discovering your own authentic genius by tuning in next time for more real conversations with real people.